on Nightline. The reckoning. As the Dow plunges again today, we investigate the CEO who collected $484 million while his company was driven into the ground. Plus, mud wrestling. Is Barack Obama a liar? Is he palling around with terrorists? And remember John McCain and the Keating 5 savings and loan scandal? The Democrats do. Those highlights and more after an ugly day in campaign land. And Deep Freeze, the inspirational story of an Alaska high school football team that overcame Arctic weather and roaming polar bears to play in the game of a lifetime.
From the global resources of ABC News with Terry Moran, Martin Bashir, and Cynthia McFadden in New York City, this is Nightline, October 6, 2008.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia McFadden. It was another roller coaster Monday on Wall Street. Despite Friday's $700 billion rescue plan, the market closed today under 10,000 points for the first time in 4 years. It was a bad day, but not as bad as it might have been. At one point this afternoon, the Dow was down 800 points. It closed down 370. In Rome, Pope Benedict tried to calm financial jitters, emphasizing the importance of spiritual matters over material wealth. But in Washington, it was vast material wealth that had Congress asking hard questions of Richard Fuld, the CEO of Lehman Brothers, when the company collapsed. Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross reports the FBI is now investigating whether there was criminal wrongdoing on Wall Street. Brian?
Cynthia, Fuld is the man who ran Lehman Brothers and ran it into the ground. As he appeared before Congress today, lawmakers were quick to make him the poster boy for Wall Street greed.
He owns this mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, a $14 million oceanfront estate on Jupiter Island in Florida, and an apartment on Manhattan's Park Avenue, packed with millions of dollars worth of art. But today, as the first CEO to appear before Congress since the crisis, Richard Fuld of Lehman Brothers was greeted with protesters behind him and some angry members of Congress in front of him.
If you haven't discovered your role, you're the villain today.
Every one of the $484 million Lehman Brothers paid Fuld over the last 8 years was criticized.
Our economy is in a state of crisis, but you get to keep $480 million. I have a very basic question for you. Is this fair?
But Fuld sought to correct the record, saying he too had lost money because his stock in Lehman is now worthless. His $480 million fortune is now closer to $350 million.
Look, I am not proud of the fact that I lost that much money.
The committee also produced internal Lehman Brothers documents showing some urged that top management should forego bonuses because of hard times. That got a big no from the Lehman Brothers partner who is on the executive committee, George H. Walker, a second cousin of President Bush. "Sorry, team, I'm not sure what's in the water," Walker wrote. "I'm embarrassed and I apologize." Fuld was at times defiant and did not admit doing anything wrong.
You think you should have done some things different, but you don't seem to acknowledge that you did anything wrong.
The larger question today, and one being pursued by the FBI, was how Lehman Brothers collapsed so fast, just 5 days after Fuld had assured investors the company was in a strong position.
Not that anybody on this committee cares about this, but I wake up every single night thinking, what could I have done differently?
Congressional investigators say one thing Fuld could have done was pay attention to his own employees, who warned of widespread fraud in mortgages being written by a Lehman Brothers subsidiary in California.
We refuse to turn a blind eye to the fraud.
These women went public and sued Lehman 3 years ago, after they say they were fired when they tried to warn that mortgage loan applications were being falsified, so people would get loans they could not afford.
I saw dummied up pay stubs, W-2s, the bank statements.
We told them, you know, these borrowers are not going to qualify, they're not going to be able to make the payments.
And there had been other warnings years earlier about another shady mortgage broker Lehman was connected to, First Alliance. Internal reports from a Lehman Brothers vice president described First Alliance as a financial sweatshop, a place, he said, where you leave your ethics at the door.
I can tell you these guys can sell anything to anyone. They're very slick people.
Thousands of homeowners face foreclosure because of what were found to be First Alliance's predatory tactics, including the Gunderson family of Minnesota.
How good do they feel about making their money by taking food away from my children? How good do they feel about that?
The Gundersons and others sued Lehman Brothers and won, but lawyers in the case say nothing changed.
It was a significant multi-million-dollar victory, and it should have sent a message, but the message was ignored.
Connecticut Attorney General Richard Blumenthal, who's investigating Lehman Brothers and other Wall Street firms, says there was more than enough in many cases for the FBI and federal law enforcement agencies to pursue criminal charges, but that never happened. A failure, Blumenthal says, to connect the dots.
The failure to see that the dots not only were connected but demanded action is completely reprehensible and now should lead to strong and effective indictments and prosecutions for fraud.
There's more than enough blame to go around for failing to see the crisis coming. Civil rights groups actually went to the Federal Reserve in the summer of 2007 to warn of an impending crisis due to all of the fraudulent mortgages.
What we saw were millions, literally millions of homeowners likely to be pushed into foreclosure because of the crisis that we now see has befallen the country as a whole.
The meeting was with Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke, according to the president of the Leadership Council on Civil Rights, Wade Henderson. Henderson gives Bernanke credit for attending the meeting, but not much else.
I wish he had done more. I wish he had sounded the alarm more directly. I do understand the cautious nature of the institution that he leads, but I'm disappointed that more was not done.
Which gave a green light to Lehman Brothers and others to continue selling huge amounts of suspect mortgages as top-grade investments.
Do you think...
So the question for Fold today was, did he know there was fraud? Did he tell his investors? A potential minefield of criminal charges.
Did you mislead your investors? And I remind you, sir, you're under oath.
No, sir. We did not mislead our investors.
Richard Fuld was the first, but will not be the last Wall Street CEO to have to explain himself and his wealth to Congress and to the American public.
You belong in jail! You criminal!
Today, as he left Capitol Hill, it was a walk of shame.
Let's go to jail! Come on, you criminal!
Lehman Brothers is now one of the financial institutions under preliminary criminal investigation by the FBI. The questions are, what did they know, when did they know it, and what did they tell the investing public? If there are lies found there, it could lead to the same sort of prosecution that put the top executives of Enron behind bars for a long time, Cynthia.
It is only the beginning. Our thanks, as always, to Brian Ross. When we come back, Sarah Palin talks tough on the campaign trail, and John McCain and Barack Obama follow suit.
What if we make it appear that there is another operation out there?
We can't do this out of alignment.
No, sir. Where is everyone?
What do you think? It'd be some sort of war room? It's me and you.
All you gotta do is trust me. I can see you right now, right? You are attracting attention. I will handle this on my own. He's scared. I just offered him asylum. Well, you lied, buddy.
It's a dangerous, dangerous world out there, you know?
Body of Lies, from director Ridley Scott, rated R.
All around the world, men with erectile dysfunction have taken 36-hour Cialis. Today, men can also be ready with another dosing option, Cialis for daily use, a clinically proven low-dose tablet you take every day, so you can be ready anytime the moment is right.
Tell your doctor about your medical condition and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
36-hour Cialis or Cialis for daily use. Ask your doctor if the Cialis option is right for you. So when the moment is right, you can be ready.
Jennifer Hudson
Jackson, live. Dancing with the Stars, the results tomorrow night, 8 Central on ABC. For the first presidential debate and the VP debate, more Americans watched ABC News than anyone else, period. And tomorrow, as the candidates again face off, there's no debating who's the best political team. ABC News. Watch the debate tomorrow night.
We've seen Jeff Merkley's record on raising taxes, but here's the kicker. Our Constitution requires surplus income be returned to the taxpayers as a kicker tax refund. Last year, over $1 billion returned to the taxpayers. Jeff Merkley sponsored legislation that could have taken much of that kicker tax refund away. Merkley wanted to give much of our tax refunds back to the government. Let's keep the kicker and give Jeff Merkley the boot.
The National Republican Senatorial Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now to politics. An ABC News poll released tonight shows Barack Obama is up 6 points over John McCain in the battleground state of Ohio. That's bad news for McCain, as no Republican has ever won the presidency while losing Ohio. As Obama's poll numbers have gotten stronger, the race has turned meaner. McCain running mate Sarah Palin drew blood over the weekend, saying Obama, quote, pals around with terrorists. But it's not just one-sided, as David Wright reports in tonight's Trail Mix.
Which is worse, a radical terrorist who wanted to blow up the Pentagon 40 years ago, or a crooked banker whose failed savings and loan had to be bailed out by the taxpayers 20 years ago? That's the choice the two campaigns put forward today as the road to the White House took a sudden swerve into the mud. The McCain campaign started it as Governor Sarah Palin made the rounds this weekend.
I'm just so fearful that this is not a man who sees America the way that you and I see America.
In California.
The heels are on, the gloves come off.
In Nebraska.
They don't quite know what to make of a candidate who lavishes praise on working people when they're listening, and then talks about, though, how bitterly they cling to their guns and religion when those people aren't listening.
And finally today in Florida.
You're going to have to hang on to your hats, because from now until Election Day, it may get kind of rough.
She told everyone who'd listen that Barack Obama pals around with terrorists.
I'm afraid this is someone who sees America as imperfect enough to work with a former domestic terrorist who had targeted his own country.
The man she's talking about is Bill Ayers, a Chicago professor who in the 60s was a member of the violent Weather Underground. Obama does know Bill Ayers. They worked together on the board of a Chicago nonprofit. Ayers was an early supporter of Obama's, but Obama has never condoned Ayers' politics.
The notion that somehow, as a consequence of me knowing somebody who engaged in detestable acts 40 years ago when I was 8 years old, somehow reflects on me and my values doesn't make much sense.
Hillary Clinton warned this moment would come.
I know Senator Obama is a good man, and I respect him greatly, but I think that this is an issue that certainly the Republicans will be raising.
Political hardball, guilt by association.
They'd rather tear our campaign down than lift this country up. That's what you do when you're out of touch, out of ideas, and running out of time.
But the Obama campaign is not above some guilt by association themselves. Today they released this web documentary chronicling McCain's role in the savings and loan scandal.
Many of our fellow citizens apparently believe that your services were bought by Charles Keating, that you were bribed, that you sold your office, that you traded your honor and your good names for contributions and other benefits.
McCain was one of the so-called Keating five members of Congress who did the bidding of one of the worst S&L scoundrels, Charles Keating, CEO of Lincoln Savings and Loan, bailed out by the taxpayers to the tune of $2 billion.
I don't need lessons about telling the truth to the American people. And were I ever to need any improvement in that regard, I probably wouldn't seek advice from a Chicago politician.
So why are they doing this? They each have their reasons. McCain is behind in the national polls, behind in key battleground states too. If the election were held today, Obama would win. But it's not today. There's still a month to knock him down a peg or two.
Whenever I've questioned his policies or his record, he's called me a liar. Rather than answer his critics, Senator Obama will try to distract you from noticing that he never answers the serious and legitimate questions he's been asked.
There's no red ribbon in the presidential race, no silver medal. He's got to win, and he found that being cautious and being more conventional wasn't working for him.
And when one side attacks, the other feels the need to respond in kind.
They plan to, and I quote, turn the page on the discussion about our economy and spend the final weeks of this campaign launching swift boat-style attacks on me.
Tomorrow's debate should be lively.
I think Obama should be looking over his shoulder. Satchel Paige said, don't look behind. Somebody may be catching up on you. But he should be careful because I think he's a little too detached, a little too cool. He's now a little too smug. And McCain just lock on that heat-seeking missile and he could win.
So pick your poison. A former domestic terrorist who's now a respected professor, or a white-collar criminal who bilked the taxpayers for billions. And hold your noses, the mudslinging has just begun. I'm David Wright for Nightline in Clearwater, Florida.
And we will have a president-elect in 28 days. When we come back, frozen football, that's right, football literally played on a frozen tundra, while guards stand watch for polar bears.
The Visitor, now on DVD and Blu-ray.
Ever notice how beautiful your hair color looks in sunlight? Well, check out Nice and Easy with up to 40% more dimension. It's designed to bring out all the highlights and lowlights in your color, just like on a brilliant sunny day. Nice and Easy from Clairol.
On October 17th.
Mr. President, I'm more worried now than I was on 9/11. Middle East, anthrax, homeland security. Everything is coming together like a perfect storm. I don't understand why you bring this up at lunch.
WPG-13 in theaters October 17th.
Want whiter teeth? Not sure what to choose? Crest White Strips is the #1 dentist-recommended brand. We use the same enamel-safe ingredient dentists use. Satisfaction guaranteed. So what are you waiting for? The secret to a whiter smile is in the strip. Crest White Strips.
In 3 days, Harvey Keitel, Lisa Bonet, Michael Imperioli, Gretchen Mol, and Jason O'Mara in the 4-star premiere event. ABC's Life on Mars premieres Thursday, 10/9 Central, after a new Grey's Anatomy on ABC.
Let us strive to live peaceably with men and women everywhere.
Matthew Shepard, 21, brutally murdered because he was gay. Ted Kennedy, Gordon Smith, 2 senators, 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, fighting together for the Matthew Shepard bill. Tough sentences for those who commit crimes of hate, in honor of one young man, in honor of one strong belief.
I'm Gordon Smith, and I approve this ad.
Strength is power. Introducing the all-new TL, the most powerful Acura ever built.
Firefighting is truly a calling. It's not just a job. Every day we're ready and willing to do whatever it takes to protect people. I'm opposing Measure 64 because it's going to make our job of protecting our communities harder. Measure 64 unfairly singles out hardworking Oregonians by taking away the voice of firefighters, nurses, and teachers. We have an obligation as firefighters to speak out against measures like 64 that would hurt public safety. I hope you'll vote no on Measure 64.
Accurate and reliable K2 Storm Tracker weather.
I joined the National Guard and never thought I'd be saving lives.
I put on the uniform and I have a whole new outlook on life.
Country, community, family. That's what matters most to me. If that matters to you, go to 1-800-GO-GUARD.com.
Watch AM Northwest this week for your chance to win tickets to see my show at the Rose Garden on October 16th.
Nightline continues from New York City with Cynthia McFadden.
Well, waves of journalists have been heading to Alaska since Sarah Palin was launched into national politics. But tonight, our trip north is not for politics, but for football. We first profiled the Barrow Whalers in 2007, the high school football program that gives teens a reason to stay in school and say no to drugs. Now we've returned for an unlikely playoff game.
Take a minute and listen to what cold sounds like. Deep inside the Arctic Circle, across the street from the ocean, they're shoveling the world's only Arctic football field and getting ready for a most unlikely high school playoff.
Pretty gnarly.
It's not a job you're familiar with, I guess, right? Clearing ice and snow off a football field?
Yeah, another football field.
And then there are the polar bears. This one was spotted at the field 2 weeks ago, and there have been dozens of sightings in town.
Right here is the Barrow Playground. We've had bears right here in the playground.
Captain Leon Boyer says polar bear patrols are part of his routine.
It's just a way of life up here. I mean, the polar bear lives here with everybody else.
He showed us how they deal with the bears in the event that one decides the big football game is a good place to find lunch.
In the event that we had a bear, we use a 12 gauge, what we call a popper round. It's nothing more than a firework round. So the idea is to scare the bears. Absolutely. This is a non-lethal round. It wouldn't hurt the bear, even if you hit the bear with it.
Deadly polar bears and killer cold. This is the home of the Barrow Whalers, a sort of bad news bears on ice. They were a team of misfits from a mostly native village that never played football ever until just 3 years ago.
How many of you guys have never played football before?
This is what they looked like back then. The team was formed as a sort of experiment to fight a 50% dropout rate and huge drug and alcohol problem. And it worked.
They're like, wow, you know, it's amazing what happens if you do your homework every day and you come to class every day, and gosh, you can be kind of successful at school.
Barrow can be a bleak, unforgiving place. School superintendent Trent Blankenship says the program focused kids who desperately needed direction.
They're doing better in school than the kids who aren't in football. So actually, and believe me, these were not the kids who were the top students.
Along the way, something else happened. This terrible team, more accustomed to spearing whales than throwing a pigskin, got really good. So good that this year they lost only one game, leading to what they're calling the Frozen Tundra Playoff.
You're making it big for nothing!
Flying into Barrow, the opposing team had just one thing on their minds. The cold.
The thing I'm worried about is the ball actually turning into an ice ball.
The Whalers coach told us the cold he's prepared for. The Bears are another story.
Not worried about them at all this season until I saw that photograph. And then every day in practice I do a couple of scans, just looking to see, okay, are we clear?
Any polar bears?
Yep. I mean, I actually have been watching for them.
The team rode out to the field like they were heading for Siberia, a happy, furry version of Siberia.
Are you ready for some football? Arctic football!
Buses were lined up as warming shelters and as a crude wind block to fight the gusts coming in from the Arctic Ocean. About half the fans, hardy locals who aren't afraid of cold, watched from their cars to stay warm.
You got the best seat in the house.
Yes, right in the front row. Go Whalers! W-H-A-L-E. Whalers!
On the field, the Whalers quickly took control. Albert Gerke was the backup quarterback when we met him last year. Back then, he came in for a surprising come-from-behind win. This year, he leads the state in passing yards, and even with 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts, kept piling on more.
Nicely done by Gerke. Oh, my goodness sakes. As he heads over the right end, he's going to be pushed out of bounds.
It didn't seem to bother him that they were shoveling the field while he was playing. or that the superintendent was bringing coats to the other team because they were freezing on the sidelines. In fact, the only heater on the field was used to keep the footballs from turning to ice.
Oh, no. It's not cold, is it, Coach?
It's kind of balmy today.
And between the cheers of the least scantily clad squad of cheerleaders you'll ever see, the police were on hand as promised, ready for those polar bears.
So what are you looking out for here? Polar bears. Keep the safety of people watching the game. We've had a streaker here before. I doubt we'll have that person again here with the weather today, so
You're looking for polar bears and streakers?
Any kind of illegal activity in polar bears, yes.
On the field, from last year's quiet backup to state champ, Albert Gerke is a lot like the Whalers as a whole. And he didn't disappoint. Nervous misfits no more. Albert and the Whalers slaughtered the other team, 46-18, keeping the fairy tale that is the Barrow Whalers intact.
This has changed your life, hasn't it?
Yeah, it did. Gets me going on my schoolwork, so it gets me going through the whole year.
Even coated in ice, this town has changed. Changed by a game and a group of kids who've become hooked on the strongest addiction this place has seen in a long time, winning. I'm Neil Karlinski for Nightline in Barrow, Alaska.
The Whalers will face the Kodiak Bears in the state semifinal later this week. May the best team win, and may nobody get frostbite. When we come back, round two, the candidates prepare for a showdown in Nashville.
ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Geico.
Ah, yes, the Geico Gecko in migration, driven by primal instinct to help people save hundreds of dollars on their car insurance.
Hey, do you see that guy over there? He's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Gotta be kidding me.
What a clever creature.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Ernie Davis was the greatest college football player the game had ever seen.
He's too fast for these kids. He's too fast for anybody.
He never played a game as a professional.
How sick are you, Ernie? I'm going to fight.
But he changed the sport.
I've never walked off the field for anybody.
And our country forever.
Go, Davis, go!
The Express travels the range of human emotion, from sadness to laughter.
Your life. Lose weight and save money with LA Weight Loss. Let us put money back in your pocket with our 6-week trial program. And if you call us in the next 30 minutes, we'll give you 6 additional weeks free. Call 1-800-818-TRIM.
What does a floor model sale mean to you? At Starks, it means big savings. This weekend, Starks Vacuum has to clear out their floor models, open box, closeouts, and even select new vacuums. Once a year savings on the best brands. Starks Floor Model Vacuum Sale this weekend only at all Starks Vacuum locations.
When you think of quality, think of Parker Furniture. Baker Furniture on sale now.
When fall weather keeps you guessing, turn to the First Alert Storm Team for answers. Your severe weather station, KGW News Channel 8.
For your health tonight, drug makers are raising the minimum age recommendations on over-the-counter cold and cough medicines for kids. They're now saying children under 4 shouldn't use them at all. They say the medications are safe and effective, but acknowledge dosing errors and accidental ingestion are leading causes of injury among kids. Right now, the FDA recommends children under age 2 not use them. Well, the new label changes should be phased in next year.
Adding fatty foods to your diet might actually help you lose weight. It doesn't mean you get to eat burgers and fries. Experts say foods rich in unsaturated fats like nuts and olive oil may send signals to your brain that stop you from eating unnecessarily. By studying rats, the researchers found compounds in unsaturated fats activate brain circuits that decrease appetite, make you feel full. They hope to use the study to create new drugs that help people either lose or gain weight.
TriMet's making the West Ride a little brighter. Does the plants and animals in this mural look familiar? Where you'll find it and what inspired it.
Don't forget, you can join us every night for 10 at 10. All your news in the first 10 minutes at 10 o'clock. We're on Portland CW. That's cable channel 3, channel 32 if you don't have cable.
Let's say you're dating a woman, and things are going just swell. When it comes time to meet the daughter, don't do this.
Okay.
Okay.
or this. Kath and Kim premieres this Thursday after an all-new Earl on NBC.
So what do you do?
I'm a trophy wife.
We've seen Jeff Merkley's record on raising taxes, but here's the kicker. Our Constitution requires surplus income be returned to the taxpayers as a kicker tax refund. Last year, over $1 billion returned to the taxpayers. Jeff Merkley sponsored legislation that could have taken much of that kicker tax refund away. Merkley wanted to give much of our tax refunds back to the government. Let's keep the kicker and give Jeff Merkley the boot.
The National Republican Senatorial Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Welcome to Papa Murphy's. I want a humongous pizza. We can do that. Our 5-meat stuffed is made on fresh dough with 5 kinds of meat and loads of cheese all stuffed into our braided crust. It weighs almost 4 pounds.
Can I get a salad with that?
We can do that.
Now get the 5-meat stuffed pizza for just $10.99. Handmade fresh, home-baked great. That's Papa Murphy's.
Told him not to put it in the trunk.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is responsible for the content of this advertising. Healthcare is vital. That's why Gordon Smith voted to ensure Oregon seniors have better access to healthcare and affordable prescriptions. Smith supported funding for health technology and cutting-edge scientific research so Oregon families can live longer, healthier lives. And Smith supports doctors and patients making healthcare decisions, not government bureaucrats. Call Gordon Smith. Tell him to keep working for better health care.
I know you're concerned about the economy and your future. A state treasurer with the right priorities can help. I'm Ben Westland.
Since fighting cancer, Ben has championed affordable health care and covering Oregon's uninsured kids. Ben saved taxpayers millions of dollars by lowering the cost of school bonds, and he'll prepare our children for the good jobs of tomorrow. As treasurer, Ben Westland will invest in wind, wave, and solar to lower our energy costs.
My priority will be to help you. The old Greyhound bus depot in Tigard has a new look. It's now TriMet's Tigard Transit Center and the West Side Express Service rail station. 2 Portland-based artists have painted a 780-square-foot mural. John Early and Laura Bender tell us it's inspired by the Tualatin River watershed and contains drawings of 20 local flora and fauna.
Nightly News is straight ahead tonight with a preview of tonight's presidential debate. Will the economy or character issues take center stage?
Plus, what's the best treatment for back pain, therapy or surgery?
That's all coming up next on Nightly News.
Then stay with us for the presidential candidates town hall debate. That starts at 6. Don't forget, you can also watch it live on KGW.com.
Have a great night.